Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing great at home. We sure miss you here at school, and we can't wait to see you guys back here with us. For today, though, we're going to get started on a new lesson. We're going to be creating a lesson in the style of art called op art, which is short for an optical illusion. An optical illusion is basically an eye trick. Optical meaning eyes, and illusion is a trick, kind of like you see on a stage with a magician. So we're going to be creating eye tricks through our artwork today, and we're going to be making a very cool line design, adding some tints with oil pastels and different colors. And I can't wait to get started, so let's get this thing going. All right, guys, for this activity, we're going to be creating worm lines. I like to call them that because it's kind of what they remind me of when you first start drawing them. It's kind of like grub worms, but they actually turn out to be a really cool art activity and a really neat optical illusion. You will need oil pastels, you will need a pencil, and you will need some paper. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a few dots across your paper, and you want to spread them out a good ways. I have about 4. You can make anywhere between 4 to 7. And then after you do that, you're going to want to start on the edge of your paper, and you're going to make a line that curves down like a frown and stops at that dot. And it's going to curve down again from one dot to the next. You're going to go ahead and continue doing this all the way across your paper. All right. Once you've done it on the top side, you want to do it on the bottom half of your paper. So you're going to start and come up like a smile, and you're going to continue doing that from one dot to the next all the way across your paper. Now, the next part is pretty simple. It's just a little bit tedious, takes a little bit of time, but you're going to want to start on your edge again, and you're going to want to curve your line up to the dot. And you're going to want to go across and do it again, all the way across, just like you just did. And you're going to do this over and over and over again until you get to the bottom, making sure that when you do this, your line is connecting right here together. Do you see how those lines connect right there? Maybe you guys can see it better right there. So I want to make sure that those lines are connecting. And like I said, I'm going to finish doing this, going all the way down this half of my paper. Okay, so I have finished this half. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to start with the other half. So I'm going to do the same thing, essentially, as I did before. I just flipped my paper over, and I'm going to finish out this half. You do not have to keep these things going perfectly straight. Chances are that's not going to happen anyway. Sometimes they grow larger, sometimes they grow smaller, sometimes they start going in an angle. See here, there we go. And we're just going to finish these until we get them to the very end, guys, okay? All right, guys, so I have finished drawing my lines on my paper. Next, I'm going to use my oil pastels. I'm going to take a couple of colors. For example, I'm going to be using red and blue this time around in my first section. And so I will need to get those colors out, and I'm going to be coloring kind of hard with them so that I can get everything colored in that I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and color these in a pattern in my first section here. Just red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. Okay, so go ahead and do that and skip every other one and go ahead and color these in. And the great thing about oil pastels is that if you use your finger, you can blend them together. Sometimes you don't even have to do that. Sometimes you can use a white and blend them together. The bad thing about oil pastels is once you touch them, whatever else you touch, you're going to get oil pastel on. So be careful about where you put your hands, because if you can see, I've already got blue on my thumb and I barely even touched this. I don't want to put my hands all over my paper, because then I'm going to have blue spots everywhere. It's okay if you do that. They will get covered up with the other crayons you guys are going to use. But it's just a little bit better to just be more cautious about where you place your fingers on your paper when you're using the oil pastels. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this part out. And then I will move on to adding my red in between my blue, where all these white spaces are. Okay, I have finished this first section. Now I'm going to go to my next section. I'll clean this little edge up here. And in my next section, I'm going to choose 2 different colors. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. I think I'll do green and orange. So I'll go ahead and get started on that really quick. Okay, so you guys are going to want to choose 2 different colors. You're going to want to alternate those colors in each section. So I have red and blue, orange and green. On the next one, I'll probably use purple and yellow. I'm not sure about here or here yet, but go ahead and do that, and you want a pattern going down in each section of 2 different colors. So go ahead and do that for me. Okay, you guys, so I have finished coloring each section in, and now what I'm going to do is going to go back and I'm going to make these look a little bit more 3-dimensional using a white oil pastel. I'm going to start in the middle of my picture, and I'm going to color side to side, just like this. Can you all see that? And as I do that, I'm not going to fill the whole space in. I'm just going to go down the middle. And as I go down closer to the bottom, I'm going to let my white get a little bit further out, not all the way to the edge though. And I'm curving it just like these lines curve. I'm also curving my white when I'm putting it on, when I'm applying it. And I'm going to do the same thing down this side. I have flipped my paper over and I'm curving my white lines when I add them on here, just like the blue and red lines curve. So I'm curving with them. And it's going to go a little bit further out than it does in the middle. I'm going to carry that all the way down to the bottom. And then when I get to my next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start in the middle and get my lines going side to side. And then as I start coloring down, I'm coloring in a smile direction, just in a curve. And I'm pressing down hard with this white so I can create a tint. A tint is when you add white to a color to make it lighter. When I create this tint, it also creates almost a shadow look on the side. So now it looks more 3-dimensional when you look at this. Actually, go back and fix that one just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish this side out. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to go ahead and work on this side some. Doing the same thing, and you're going to do this throughout each section of your paper. You're pressing them hard when you're doing it with your white. That way your white will show up on top of your other colors. Go ahead and finish that part out. Alright, you guys, so I am finished with all of my coloring, and I'm finished with my little bit of white down the middle to make this look a little bit more 3-dimensional. I can't wait to see your finished product. Definitely send me a picture of yours when you finish. Have your parents or whoever you live with email it to me, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.